This one stock can change early buyers' lives. This is not financial advice, but my research suggests it's a good idea to buy $50 of this before November 29th. The stock is Unity, ticker symbol U. They make the software that game developers use to create Pokemon Go. And Volvo uses their software to simulate driving scenarios for their cars. It's something that a lot of big car companies do. So the software is definitely enterprise software. Having that connection to game developers, which is a big one. Unity gets some revenue from licenses and also some revenue from in-game monetization. So they're somewhat exposed to advertising, which is a cyclical sector. It's seasonal. If it's recessionary, I don't want to say it's going to be a recession at some point in the next few years, but I'm just saying if the economy isn't doing great, people spend less on ads, right? That's the first thing that gets cut, marketing budgets. So that's the risk for Unity. However, right now they have $400 million in revenue. That's up slightly from a year ago, and they have $150 million in free cash flow. So what a software company does have is very little capital expenditures, which is great and gives them a lot of flexibility because they get that money and then they can deploy it quickly and adapt. So maybe if ad rates go down in the future, they can pour that into more AI initiatives, some type of new development ecosystem that enterprises want in the next few years. We're going to watch the company evolve. In the short term, I think it's a good buy. It's a $38 stock, so it's low priced. And this isn't financial advice, but let's jump into exactly how the stock looks on a chart and also a little bit about what they do.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So here's Unity software. So it's holding up here off of this left side peak from July of this year. This is the level right now, and it recently had earnings, and you can see that earnings was a beat, and it's still holding here after a sell-off. So this is impressive given that the market is selling off significantly, and we saw Nvidia sell off significantly after earnings. We saw Palantir have great earnings and sell off. We saw AMD have earnings and sell off. I could sort of go down the list with semiconductor companies. SMCI sold off. So you have to take a look at what stocks are actually interesting and in play, and which stocks are holding up. And Unity seems to be the best one. So let's take a look at what these numbers stack up as. This is the revenue. These are some of the segments, and they basically have create and grow, which are respectively for developers, that's create, and then grow is the money, the advertising and the platform that they have built out for that. So having access to games, they have access to a lot of people, the industry, software industry calls them users, right? And so they have a lot of eyeballs, so that bodes well for advertising. Earnings per share beat the expectation of a loss, beat consensus. The guidance hung in there, and they did have a net loss. They are a pretty large company, 15 billion, and they've been around for some time, but not a crazy amount of time. So if you look at a 20-year chart, they've only been public since 2020. So this is definitely an early story. Compare that to Salesforce, for example, right? This is 2006 for Salesforce, and this is the stock price now. A slightly newer company would be ServiceNow, another growth story in the enterprise software space. So I'm not saying that Unity is going to follow that trajectory, but we don't actually have to bet on it following that trajectory. All we have to do, or what I think could be a good idea, is taking a position here with a really close risk, slightly higher low here, and looking for a little multiple day momentum burst of, say, I don't know, twice the average daily range of 7, so like 10 to 15%. And another way to say that would be risk a dollar, make 10, right? So that's the super simple way to look at it. And if we look a little into what else they've been up to, I don't know what's going to happen in the gaming market, but because they're a game engine and they're like the picks and shovels for a lot of big games. These are some of the big games. Pokemon Go is a big one. And also they have some of these big contracts helping do sort of virtual, it's not like augmented reality, virtual reality, but it's kind of like the original way of doing that, which is simulations. So Unity being used by software developers to create software means it's very much the underbelly for a lot of ways to take data and display it, right? So all we really have to say is, okay, this company's been around for 5 years publicly. It's been around longer before that, of course. And their revenue's fine. They're operating a loss, okay. But they have these big companies using them. And they have some free cash flow, which just sort of making sure I understand why this makes any sense. So it is a solid measure of a company's health that they do have this. Of course, all software companies have them. So I will say that, yes, it would be great to look at a software company that, I don't know, is more consumer friendly. I mean, OpenAI is planning to go public at a $1 trillion valuation. But in terms of software right now, the space is doing okay. But a lot of the companies that, I mean, of course, the big tech companies are struggling a little bit. Meta selling off, and a lot of the enterprise companies as well don't seem super strong. So that's been the case for a while now. I'm not just picking on Salesforce and ServiceNow. It's actually a lot of companies that follow this trajectory of doing super well in the bubble, where a lot of companies raise money, and then selling off after the COVID and 2021 bubble, and just now turning up. So it's not indicative of Unity itself. Could they pull a Carvana and have a crazy run, basically double? I don't know. I mean, they already did double, right? So notably, they're holding up right now. And if we look at a lot of other companies, they're selling off more than Unity. So that's the idea. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. And if you want to talk about your portfolio, head over to stockscommunity.com. $19 trial offer.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.